Welcome back, Masters and Princesses, to another episode of Maid News Network. I am your host, S.J. Nix, and today we will be talking about TATU number 13, the 10th anniversary tour update number 13, and it is the last one for the May leg of the U.S. tour. After Saturday, yesterday, the 27th, they get a nice long break of a little over a month. They'll pick up again in July in Japan, and then they will come back out and see us in the US in August. But for now, we're going to talk about this little tour here in the US, and we're going to talk about the last two shows. So just an introductory and an overview of the May dates. We did 9 shows here in the US. 6 of them were one-mans, 3 of them were festivals, and the 2 that we're going to talk about today in TATU 13 are the last 2 festivals. This was a 14-day run for them with 9 shows, which is busy, but it's not too busy. I want to put up a map right here. Thank you to Twitter user Yamakazu for making this little map. It's a nice little graphic to show you how the girls moved around the U.S. Is it completely accurate? We don't know. This is something that he looked at where the locations were, and it seemed to make sense. And looking at it too, if you look at the major arteries throughout the U.S., this makes the most sense for their travel. But again, thank you for Yamakazu for this graphic. And with that, let's get on into the first of the 2 festivals. All right, festival number 1 was Sonic Temple in Columbus, Ohio. This is a massive 4-day festival in the Midwest, and the Maids played on Friday, the 26th. Had a pretty decent spot on one of the side stages about midday, but they absolutely killed it. And the set list for Sonic Temple was Domination, Choose Me, Dice, Endless Story, Screaming, Influencer, No God, and Warning. They got 8 songs out at a festival. That's great. Normally, you're not going to get that many, but they plowed on through and put some absolute bangers in this set list to get Domination up front, Warning on the back end, and in the middle of that set, Endless Story, Screaming, Influencer, Dice. Every single song is a fantastic, amazing song for them. So if you were at Sonic Temple, consider yourself lucky. If this was the first introduction to the band for you, I hope you had an absolute great time. And if you did, in the comments below, say, hey, this was the first time, I'm a fan now. Or if you didn't enjoy them that much, say that too. Let's get some honest reactions from you guys out there. So just some information about Sonic Temple. Many of you may have heard of Rock on the Range. It's a very big Midwest festival. In 2019, Rock on the Range became Sonic Temple. So if the Sonic Temple doesn't sound familiar, Rock on the Range does. It changed names back in 2019. So while the name is new, the festival itself is not. One of the big things that I think that came out of this that most of us at this point have seen is one of the DJs for the local radio station, 99.7 The Blitz, by the name of Bodie, did a pretty long interview with the girls. It was between 12 and 14 minutes. Maybe not one of the greatest interviews out there, but the fact that they actually did it for the radio station and got them some additional FaceTime, not only with the radio station, but with the festival itself, it's only good. And I think one of the interesting things about that is the last time I checked, the view count was about 12,000 views for that video. The other videos that Bodie and the radio station did, and I'm not throwing shade here, I'm just as a comparison. The other videos, even with members of Avenged Sevenfold, the view counts were in the hundreds, and the Maids were 11 or 12,000 views. So I hope the radio station, other radio stations in the Midwest and around the country see that and realize that there's something really, really special here, that get them some airplay, get Bandmade out there to the masses in general. Let's spread the word. Let's make it only bigger and better for them. Lots of great pictures came out of Sonic Temple. some good crowd shots, some really, really good on stage shots. I'm going to put a bunch of them up here, let you take a look. Most of them are out there that you can find on social media or other places, whether it be in cafe or on Reddit or Discord. But just some of the best photos that I've seen out of this tour, actually, some really good close-up shots, some nice crowd shots from the stage looking out, good variety of pictures. But besides the interview, I haven't heard or seen too much about reactions. So if you went, you had a good time, let us know. Or if you know of some other good interviews or some comments from fans out there, mention it down below. You can put those links up in Cafe. If it'll let you, put the links in the comments down below. So again, Sonic Temple in Columbus, Ohio, May 26th. That was the first festival for the back-to-back festivals. Coming up next, we move over to St. Louis. All right, welcome to St. Louis, Missouri and Pointfest. Pointfest is a smaller festival in comparison to Sonic Temple. It was a one-day on May 27th, and it was hosted by 105.7 The Point, the alternative radio station for St. Louis. The set was a little bit smaller by one song this time. It was only 7 songs. And again, they had kind of a midday place for one of the side stages. So let's go over the set list real quick. So for Pointfest, set was Domination. That's been our standard for all of these festivals. Glory was an addition that we got this time. Secret My Lips. If you were going to get an add-in song and take something out, I'm going to say that a lot of you are going to say Secret My Lips is a great choice to plug in for a festival. Next up, another one we've seen throughout this entire tour, Endless Story, Screaming, Influencer, and closing it out with No God. Again, a song that we've seen close out a lot of these sets. No Warning this time. Kind of a bummer for me that's always going to be one of my favorite songs live and recorded. But for Pointfest, St. Louis, we got Domination, Glory, Secret My Lips, Endless Story, Screaming, Influencer, and No God. Now, a couple of the interesting things about Pointfest. The headliner for this one was Incubus. And even if you're not a fan, I think most of us know who Incubus is. They've been around for a long time. They are one of those 90s kind of post-metal, post-hairband groups that came out with a bunch of music that was super popular, and they were the headliners for this fest. I tell you this because Mike Enziger, who is the guitar player for Incubus, if he wasn't a fan before, he is now. And he took a picture of the girls, like we saw with Clown back in the Daytona Fest. A lot of these big bands are giving these girls some recognition. But in addition to taking the photo, he also shot a video from the side of the stage mid-set. As you can see from that video, Akane was having the time of her life and doing what the girls do, screwing around, making faces. She's actually singing to Mike while she's playing, and he seems to be eating it up just as much as she is. It was a pretty big surprise to see that video out there on the internet, but nothing could make me happier than to get recognition from big bands like this. He wouldn't have done that if he didn't like them. So on the very big off chance that you see this, Mike, thank you so much for hyping up the ladies. I hope you enjoyed the set. Hopefully you get to see them in a one-man so you can experience the full set, including Homogenai time. Nothing like it. I promise you, you'll have a good time. And another thing that I just wanted to put out there, looking back through this entire May tour, one of the big differences between this and last October is from start to finish, everybody looked really healthy, really happy. Mincho seemed like she was in good spirits and good health based on the pictures. The other ones are just workhorses. They're doing great, but I think we're all a little worried about Mincho at the end of October. Doesn't seem to be a problem this time. I think they got used to life on the road out here. They're used to the bus. They kind of have a flow now to the way things go. And frankly, it was shorter and there's a lot less travel this time. Breaking it up into two different sections, I think, is a big benefit for them. So when we get them back in August, though it's going to be hotter, I think it will be a little easier for them because they're not literally going across the entire United States and then backtracking to the Midwest like they did in October. So with that, I am going to wrap up TATU number 13. Thank you so much for watching again. We're going to have a little break now. They've got a month off, and I think some of the speculation is that this month will not only be a little bit of a rest for them, but I think we're expecting them to be in the studio. If that means an album before the end of the year, don't know, but they don't know how to slow down. They don't know how to stop. So having a month off, that's a lot of time to be in the studio for recording and writing. Maybe we'll get something. Maybe we won't. We're just going to have to wait and see. But for now, until July, you will not hear anything from us. And the July show is at Shinjuku, Zepp Shinjuku, in fact. So there may be a little break here on M&M, especially with TATU, since there won't be anything till July. But keep an eye out for some interviews. I know we're talking to some people who went to shows for their first shows, a couple of Princess interviews that should be coming up pretty soon, and then some other videos that are non-band related, non-bandmade related. Peter has his Hades interview coming up, maybe a few other things. But with that, I would just like to say, like and subscribe, please. It helps us a ton. Comment down below. With August coming up, if you want Dawn Patrol merch, go ahead and grab some. All those links are down below. And so with that, I am S.J. Nix from Maid News Network. This has been TATU number 13 and the final one for the May leg of the 10th anniversary tour. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time on Maid News Network.